On this episode of Bobby's Kitchen, we are making the perfect castle-style slider. Welcome back to the kitchen, guys. Today we have an awesome episode for you. Really easy episode, only a few ingredients, but it's that thing that everybody loves, those little cheesy, oniony sliders. You know the ones I'm talking about. We are making an awesome homemade version of them today. They're gonna be a lot healthier. We're gonna use some lean, grass-fed ground beef. We're gonna use fresh onions instead of the dried ones that get used at the fast food restaurants. Fresh onions are gonna give a lot of flavor. They're actually gonna bring a vegetable count, a green count to this, which is awesome. It's gonna be quick and easy, so let's get to it. Now we have our extra lean ground beef. That's what's gonna make these fix approved. Of course, if you're not fix approved, you could go with the typical 80-20, but if you want to keep it on the healthy side, let's stay with the extra lean. Trust me, it's really delicious. A lot of folks, when they make a smash burger, they will smash it in the pan. You're burning your hands because grease is splattering on you. It's hard to get in there and get it smashed right. It just makes, to me, so much more sense to smash them beforehand, and then you can just lay them right onto your pan. The easiest way to do that is to get yourself some parchment or some wax paper, cut it up into little like 6x6-inch squares, and we're gonna smash our burgers between there. We have a half a pound of beef divided into 4 equal balls, about 2 ounces apiece, and we're just gonna make some quick burgers. Get your ball onto your patty, put another piece of paper on top, smash it down. Now it's a smash burger. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be tasty, and it has to be the right thickness. That thickness, about 1/4 inch. You just smash it around. You could use a rolling pin or a wine bottle, but I just use my fingers. And when it gets out to the edges, usually it's better with the edges extra crispy. So you get them a little bit thinner, a little bit thicker in the center, but overall, we are looking at a nice smash burger. Slap that onto your plate with the rest. Got a few more to go, and then we will be ready to cook. Our smashed patties are smashed. Let's talk onions. That's a huge part of this burger. If you don't like onions, you don't like these castle-style sliders. Of course, you could leave them off and just make burgers, but really, they're a huge part of this dish. They're bringing moisture to it, they're bringing flavor, and they are bringing steam. That's really important because this is a partially steamed burger with partially steamed buns, and your onions are bringing that moisture to give you that steam. That's why I consider them so important. Also, if you do fixate, they are giving you a full green on your burger, which is amazing. They're gonna cook down, they're gonna caramelize, they're gonna be delicious, and they're gonna bring you that veggie count that you're looking for. You need to have a mandolin for this, guys. These have to be super thinly sliced. You would have to have amazing knife skills and an amazingly sharp knife to get them consistently the thinness that you need them to cook through on this and to steam off and be done when those thin burgers are done cooking. So you got to use a mandolin for this. The way I do it, the easiest way to mandolin onions is to peel your onion, leave the root intact. That's going to help hold things together. Cut it in half through the root. Real simple. Now you have an onion piece that you can handle. And it's not so, when you try to do the whole thing at once, it just tends to get stuck in the mandolin. So cut it in half. Have an easy to handle onion piece. And there we have beautiful, thin, perfect julienne onions. Onions are finished. Let's talk our other 2 ingredients. Just a few ingredients in this recipe. We've got some American cheese. Of course, American is the classic that goes with this. You could use cheddar if you want, but let me suggest this. I know some folks are going to be like, you know, I don't really like to use the American because it's not natural. And that's true. When you get those plastic wrapped American cheese slices, they're not very natural, which will make you want to lean towards cheddar. But not all American cheese is equal. If you go to the deli counter and you get them to slice American cheese for you off the block by the pound, you say, I want a quarter pound of American cheese, whatever, that cheese that comes off the block is actually made with real cheese, as opposed to those plastic wrap pieces, which are just a dairy product that's made to look like cheese. So you want real cheese, get the American from the deli counter. Little tip. And last but not least, getting the right bun is important. I'm using these little dinner rolls. Little dinner rolls, they make perfect little slider buns. I really like these potato ones. They're great. They have the right texture and the right flavor. If you're gluten-free, of course, you can go with a gluten-free dinner roll. You could even go whole wheat, although that's not really traditional with this recipe. You can if you want to keep it whole grain. But get the dinner rolls. They've got a nice little sweetness to them, a softness, and they steam up beautiful in that onion steam, which is going to give you the perfect castle-style slider. Those are our ingredients. We are set up. It is really important to set up for success here because this is going to be a quick, high-heat cook. It's kind of like a stir-fry where you have to have everything ready to go because you're not going to have time while you're cooking to prep anything out. So we got burgers, we got onions, we got cheese, we got buns, real simple, a little bit of salt, and we are going to get our pan set up and get to cooking. All right, we are set up to cook. I have got a nice cast iron griddle here. This works great if you don't have one of these. Obviously, you can use just your largest skillet. Stainless steel is fine. I'm going to use this so I can do everything at once, which is fun. If you only have a skillet that's not big enough, you might only be able to do one burger at a time, but that's up to you. You always have to be able to fit at least 2 patties to do this right, though. Don't want to get it too hot. A little bit of high smoke point avocado oil on the skillet. I'm not giving a measurement, just get a little coating on there. The burger is only going to pick up so much, the burger and the onions, and I've accounted for what that will be. So we get our burgers out, nice and thin, slap them on. Now, a little bit of salt, just a pinch on each burger. Onions go on. We're using all of our onions. It's going to look like a lot of onions. It is a lot of onions. They cook down a ton, though. Get them all on there. Each burger, touch more salt on the onions. Just a pinch. Don't want to over-salt them. Now, we are going to let these go. They're going to get crispy on the bottom. And you're going to flip them. When we flip them, we're going to flip them so that all the onions end up underneath the burger. That allows the burger to steam, and we're going to get those onions nice and crispy brown. Exactly what we're looking for these kind of sliders. It's been a few minutes. It's looking brown around the edges. Let's give them a flip. Beautiful. Caramelized burgers. Now those onions are going to cook up, give up that steam. Woo. This is the point where we add our cheese, 1 slice per burger. These are double burgers. So each burger will get 1 slice of cheese and 2 patties. And now we get our buns right next to those burgers, prop them up. All that steam from the onion is steaming our buns. It's going to make them the perfect texture. Those buns are looking nicely steamed. I'm going to pull them off now. Get them on our plate. Just what we want. Charred on one side, steamed on the other. It's giving us the perfect texture, melting that cheese, making those onions soft and caramelized. And we are looking ready to go. The way I like to do this is to use my cheese to stick my onions together. So I take the non-cheese patty, get it with its onions right on top of the cheese. Same thing here. Get your bun ready to go. Juicy, caramelized onions. I cannot wait to get some condiments on here and get a taste. Wow, it smells beautifully burgery in my house right now. That charred beef flavor is just so beautiful with those onions. You can smell that melty cheese. I love these little buns. Look at these burgers. I mean, who is that? Forget about what you get from the fast food. Look at these bad boys. They're amazing. Dripping with juices from the beef and the onions. It is going to be so delicious. Now, in terms of condiments, you can do what you want. I happen to be a mustard pickle guy. I do love a bit of mayonnaise on here, but we're at 2 teaspoons right now, so I'm going to hold back for the sake of my container count, but you guys do whatever you want. For me, the pickle has got to be a kosher dill, and you only get the really good fermented kind, the probiotic kind, in these whole pieces. So I'm going to slice mine by hand. Just a nice kind of semi-thick slice, I think is really beautiful. Like I said, these are fermented, probiotic, good for your gut, good for your digestion. Really lovely pickle. And of course, Coleman's mustard, the only mustard in my opinion. It's the best yellow mustard. That other stuff, this is British. The other stuff that's made here in the US, it just doesn't have the flavor, but this does have some spice to it, so you gotta like spicy mustard. Here we go, moment of truth. Look at that beauty. I don't know where to start. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Some of the best sliders I've ever had. Better than what you get from the fast food chain. You made it at home. It's healthier. It doesn't have so much saturated fat. It has actual vegetables on it. Perfectly balanced. That bite was juicy. It was cheesy. It was everything I want from a slider. That is a wrap on Castle sliders. Thank you all for tuning in. And remember, if you follow the portion fix system, the container count on this is 1 yellow, 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue, and 2 teaspoons, which is pretty amazing for a delicious slider style double cheeseburger just like this. Thank you all for tuning in. And remember, if you're going to make this recipe, all of the measurements and all of the steps are right below in the description, so it's really easy. Go ahead and take a photo sometime. Hashtag it Bobby's Kitchen. Post it to social media so I can see what you're cooking up, and we will see you in the next episode.